Are you ready for rapid fire mailbag? I promise we'll do more prep on the mailbags, but these are just flying in right now, and Kyle sent me a few. So what do you think? You want to just do it?
Yeah, long overdue.
Long overdue. Okay. Let's see what Kyle has sent me here. A little police siren in the back. We'll leave that in just for aesthetics. Is that cool?
Yeah, man.
Okay, here we go. This is one. This guy knew how to get Kyle's attention. This is from Matt. It says Jim/Pam like situation. So Matt says, so I was with this girl for about a month. It was great. Everything firing on all cylinders. We're a great match. Both of us lost touch a bit because we were afraid of coming across as clingy. We both acknowledge this. And we didn't speak for a few months. Okay, major red flags in those first few sentences. Randomly texted her, and we spoke for like 5 hours. Whoa. And I find out she's about to move in with this dude she's with. I'm assuming he texted with her for 5 hours, not on the phone.
Gotta be.
But wait a minute. Boom. Find out she's about to move in with this dude she's with. Quote, he'd been after me a long time, and I just think it's time for us. And then Matt says, seemed to me like she's settling. So the conversation eventually steers into about us. She acknowledges she was super into me. I asked her if she still thinks about me and feels the same way. And she says, yes, she wants to be friends. But I told her I think there is something real and could be really great between us. And I wouldn't say this if I didn't think you didn't feel it too. Because think Casino Night episode, she's still with Roy. Is it worth going through no contact and just hoping she hits me back? Or should I hit her up in like a month? Don't want to bail on this girl, but should I? The first part of this, Kyle, that I don't understand is everything's going great. You dated for a month, but you both mutually decided that you didn't want to be too clingy. So you went from being worried about being too clingy to you went quarantined with no phones. That doesn't make any sense. Something had to have happened for you to not talk for months after you both felt like you hit it off perfectly. So I feel like there's some information that's missing in all this. I don't know. It also sounds a little bit like you do like her, but most guys get this weird thing. I think all people can do this. It might not be gender specific. I think guys are just worse with this, where you're sort of on the fence and then it's like, wait a minute, she's dating somebody now? All right, now I really like her. You know, that ever happened to you, Kyle?
No, I think, I don't know if I'm afraid of rejection. I just rather not deal with it. So if it feels like we're heading towards that road, you know, life's long. I'd say back off, buddy. I'd say back off.
So you're treating dating like kind of your Call of Duty record, where you don't want to take the L.
I don't want that 0.95. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a good skill to have. You know, I haven't been dumped
All right,
yet.
there's wow.
I'd
So you're still.
That's what I'm saying. I'm worried I should probably get it done before I'm like 40 and have like a meltdown. But I just
undefeated, never lost.
Yeah.
I dated a girl once who was like, I've never been dumped. I was like, is that a challenge? What are you saying to me? Everybody should get dumped, and you should get a couple of them out of the way early. Yeah, you're almost like chicken pox. I'm worried about you if you get dumped at 40.
Yeah, you get at an adult. Exactly. It's like a real problem. Walk away, buddy.
Yeah. I don't ever know that I've definitely been dumped, but it was coming. Like I put the things in motion that was forcing the other person to dump me. And it's funny because like when you're younger, you're like, I don't want to get dumped. I'm never going to get dumped, or I'm going to dump her first or whatever. And then you get a little bit older and you're like, I hope she dumps me. I hope this person dumps me. So, I never was younger going, I can't wait to get dumped. And you get older and you're like, maybe that just means you're improving in life when you start going, I want the other person to dump me. Okay. So Matt, I would say, I'd say give it the old college try one more time, because it sounds like this is going to break you up pretty bad here. And if she already moved in with a guy, you may want to ask yourself some questions like, wait a minute, so real hot and heavy with us, no talk for months. She goes and moves in with somebody else. If you're still sort of in that caring phase, sometimes you can't see as clear. And sometimes that might mean that, I don't know your deal, but maybe she is kind of a little flighty. Not to knock your future wife, but you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes the other person is the one where you're like, oh, wait, why am I trying to figure out this person and adapt and do all these things to understand her better when she's telling me exactly what her deal is? Okay, I haven't even read this one. Didn't even pre-read it. Just saw Denver, Colorado. This is from Grant. It says, I'm writing on behalf of my men's basketball rec team in Denver, Colorado. As a basketball player yourself and a veteran of pickup, we figured you were an authority on what we're looking to achieve. We want to win our league. Here's the Reader's Digest version. We're the oldest team in the league, mostly mid-30s, and one teammate in his early 40s, but frequently lose in the semis or championship game. None of us are exceptional players, and our experience level is limited to high school varsity basketball. We have no business competing with the younger teams. We have decent fundamentals and understand spacing and rotations for the most part. Typically, we end with a top 3 seed out of a 10 to 12 team league in the playoffs, but cannot win the whole thing. The championship game follows the semifinal game in the same night. If we do make it to the final, we look our age old. Oh, so you got to play a doubleheader. Can we win this thing? Oh, of course you can win this thing. He asked me if they should just accept that fate. Who are you talking to? I don't accept anything. We can drink more than any of the other teams. We're the only team taking advantage of the free voucher of the local bar helping sponsor the league. So I guess that's some consolation. Do you have any hope? Yeah. Look, if you can make it to the finals, unless there's just this guy that like played 2 years at UCLA and then was supposed to walk on at Fresno State. And, we don't know what his deal is. Like he had tattoos early. There's always a guy like that in some of the rec leagues that you'll play and you just go, okay, I don't have, this is not fair guy. Kind of like in Call of Duty when the guy turns into Juggernaut. You're like, this is pointless, right? Kyle knows I'm speaking his language now.
You're hitting all the points today.
Yeah. What's up, Gen Z? So I wouldn't sit here and say it's impossible unless, Thanos is playing out there. So let's just I don't know what you guys need to do. Add another shooter. Go out. Go to pickup games. Recruit. Add somebody. Bring in some bodies. That's what I would do. I mean, it may screw up the friendship dynamic and you won't appreciate it as much, but at least you'll win with strangers. Go ahead, Kyle.
What if you said they could drink better than anybody? Like, is this a friendly league? Could you maybe get that team to get some pre-game drinks the night before and hope that you really just turn up the heat on somebody?
Yeah, you could do that. I remember I played in this charity thing at Chelsea Pier, and this is like early me. And I hadn't been to the city, I think, ever in this set of circumstances, maybe once, and went out with all my boys, and we played in this 3 because we just figured we could stay out all night and play in this game, and we did, and we won our first few games. But that was one of the times I was like, oh, maybe I can't stay out all night and then run full court all day the next day. And I remember the guy that was guarding me was like, yeah, you guys are pretty good. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know what it, I was like, yeah, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know, man. He goes, yeah, that, or you're just breathing on us and we're dying. I was like, okay. We were like, oh. And then we went to the huddle. I was like, that guy's complaining. The guy was like, one of my teammates is like, whatever, like, we ended up beating them. Then we got smoked. Like once we got to the higher tiers of it, it was like, okay, you guys are toast. So I wouldn't give up.
There might be a competitive advantage there.
Yeah, right. Breathing, being so. Yeah, maybe you do that. Be so hungover in your game, but it's a night game. I guess if it's a night game though, and especially if they're younger, they're not going to be hungover anymore at night. Ooh, this one's labeled divorce during coronavirus. He says don't use his last name. I'm not even going to use your first name. We're just going to call this dude the K-Man. All right.
Nice.
My wife filed for divorce in February. The courts closed in March. So now our divorce is postponed and we have to live together until at least May. No sports on TV and I can't leave the house. So I'm stuck with my soon to be ex-wife for 3 more months. How am I supposed to pass the time? You pack a fucking bag and you get in the car and you find another place that will take you in. There's no way I could do that. Although, you know what would be great? Somebody should write this script, a little rom-com. I can't wait to see what people do with this and try to write scripts based on the quarantine and the virus. Like somebody might do a really good job with it. There'll be plenty of others that don't. But that would be I could see that being like a little rom-com reboot where you're about to file. This guy, the K-Man, just gave some great screenwriter out there an idea. All you have to do is, it's Ashton Kutcher. It's, this is Vince Vaughn, whatever, about to get divorced, virus, courts closed, whole deal. And now they're quarantined for 3 months. You'd have a lot of Zoom scenes, a lot of FaceTime scenes where they just battle it out. And like most rom-coms, figure it out and live happily ever after, virus free, where you can go outside. Boom, 90 minutes, 80 pages. I would say 90 pages, but you're going to want some scenery in there, I'd imagine, at some point. Okay. that is today's podcast. That GM destination thing, we're going to do that, expand upon that with Bill, because Bill gave me his picks, and I can't believe two of them. Wait until you hear that next on Get Up. Thanks for checking out the Ringer Podcast Network. Please subscribe to the Ryen Russillo Podcast and everything that we do here. And stay safe, everybody.